wake.
Up.
When I say wake, you say up. Wake.
Up.
Wake.
Up.
Right. So that will happen sometime during the poem. Louis Riel said, "My people will sleep for 1,000 years, but it will be the artists who awaken their souls." And Nas said, "Sleep is the cousin of death." Makes me think. It makes me think that I need to awaken something. It makes me think that I need to seek refuge in the undergrowth of the underbelly of the pit of my stomach, so that I can release songs that echo, 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 echo a simpler time. See, I want to stop time dead in its tracks, because I'm a tracker, a hunter, a gatherer of seeded knowledge. They say that my people have withstood the test of time, because we're still here. Over 660 nations across Turtle Island. And yet, time has been nothing but a series of tests. Tests that test our capacity for survival. Like that mantra, we don't die, we multiply. Maybe it's true. I mean, we did survive the smallpox test, and we certainly survived the Trail of Tears test. And then there was that attrition and starvation and forced sterilization test. The residential school test. That 60 scoops adoption test, remember that. And have you tested our drinking water? It is poisoned with mercury, and yet we still live. I think we passed that test. They're testing the floorboards of our houses on the res because they're permeated by feces. We're ending up in body bags, and our burial grounds are being tested for construction sites, for condominiums, and somehow we are still standing here. Too many tests. We're even testing ourselves now. We're testing ourselves for HIV and AIDS, HIV and AIDS, HIV and AIDS, and diabetes. Too many tests. These tests have made me tired. They've made me weary. I want to go back in time. I want to build a time machine and go back in time, and I want to put a bullet, lodge it in the cranium of Christopher Columbus, but then I would be tampering with the time continuum. And there's no time for that. Because when you mess with the fabric of time, you will basically cease to exist. But when I look in the mirror these days, I don't know if I exist at all. The reflection staring back at me doesn't seem real enough. Kind of matrix and all that. And I think the reason behind that is because I still feel I'm somewhat lost. Lost within my own generation. Not enough seven of cycles, cycles of seven, and I don't know if I'm birthing stillborns or borns who are still. I don't know. And yet, Louis Riel says, my people will sleep for 1,000 years, yet it's the artists who awake their souls. And Nas says, sleep is the cousin of death. So I need to wake
Up.
Wake
Up.
Wake
Up.
Wake
Up.
Wake
Up.
Wake the fuck up. I'm waiting. Waiting, 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 waiting. Anticipating your response to this. How deep is your sea level of overstanding? You are scaling. You are scaling back the scales. You are scaling the scales which refract light and project fishtails. These are stories, songs, teachings, generation after generation after generation. We swim. We swim purposely. We swim older than canoe. What is your purpose? See, whether fresh water, salt water, upstream, downstream, we all need a purpose. You are gutting her. You are gutting her. You are gutting the sea. You are gutting her from the inside out. When you debone one cycle of life, you are deboning your very own existence. Skeletal fragments of colonial repression. And you wash your will of lake superiority over guild ones. As if the theories of natural selection are natural. There's nothing natural about Darwinism, schism-isms, which cause a cast of temporal undercurrents, which are currently causing a currency in the sea, sea to shining sea, across this fair land of ours. You are netting prophets. You are netting prophets. You are netting false prophets. You are netting false prophets. False promises of ecological responsibility. You've got my people hook, line, and sinker. You've got my people hook, line, and sinker because we've been baited. We've been baited to believe that the madness will stop. But you still don't recognize. You don't recognize that these streams run rapid. These streams run deep. These streams run in the bloodstreams of my people. That's why we babble to brooks, and we pay tribute to tributaries, and we channel through the channel ways of life. We swim. We swim purposely, while you corporate cocksuckers drift aimlessly on a sea of confusion. You see, for us, fish is not just food. It is spiritual sustenance and political restitution. That's why it's emblazoned in our tattoos, in our totems, and in our songs, and our regalia, and our spirit guides. Because when an elder says, you've only got one more river to cross, we know we're making our way to the other side. And we're releasing our soul back to the genesis of creation, nautical navigations. We swim purposely with a divine destiny which returns us to the circle of life. What is your purpose? What is your purpose? Because I'm waiting. I'm waiting, anticipating for your response to this. What is your level of sea overstanding? I make ends. I make ends. I make ends. I make ends not to make ends meet because I told the usher to remove that seat. Because I'm no longer a victim of poverty held down by the remnants of slavery, enshrouded in an invisible cloak of my feminine inequality. I make ends, which means when I end, I begin again, because my lifetimes are the pipelines of vast oceans, which breed infinite success, which means I'm that black star rising, that shining red sun, and my ends never split, and my ends are never done. I make ends to tie up the loose ones, the mother goose ones, because I've got no time for fairy tales. I'm living each day like it's my last. I'm ballin', shot calling, the cream that rises to the top. Won't stop, don't stop, get it. I make ends. But you'll never hear me say I've reached the end of my rope or the end of the road. Because I come from a people whose body and land were sold to the ends of the earth. So I strive to end that new wave, new age, so-called neo-colonialism. And its insidious seeds, which are fed to the youth intravenously with iPod transmissions, if left unattended, causes cancer and a real fucked up disposition. I make ends. That's why I'm the spear with an edge. I'm that bald-headed conscious dread. And I'm that starving artist who's always fed. Because before I leave this body and breathe my last breath, I make ends. I make ends. I make ends. There's an invisible line keeping us out. Keeping us out. There's an invisible line keeping us out. Keeping us out. And the elders cry, why, oh, why, oh, why, away, away, and the youth them say, no, 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 not today, not today, not today. Don't away the earth in which we stand. She's losing her footing because we're losing our lands. And like the tar sands, her blood spills oil, while the offspring of the blue blood world still scavenge for First Nation spoils. I built my wigwam in the center of a trajectory of travesty. That's why I'm so ashamed sometimes of who I be. It got me peeling away at my identity. My voice trapped in a vortex, a reverberation of silence. Don't know if I stop the violence or if I'll hear the mutiny when it draws near. They got big guns made of paper, legalese translating into vapor. Gas make me wanna pass out, methane straight to the brain. And you wonder why my people sometimes act insane. My people to the left ain't saying nothing, and my people to the right, all they do is complain. But it hasn't stopped the toxins from falling from the rain. They're splicing and dicing the savage gene out of our DNA. I'm having flashbacks of a Holocaust detection, something worse than a smallpox infection. Don't be blind to the Indian act, resurrection, cause there's an invisible line keeping us out, keeping us out. There's an invisible line keeping us out, keeping us out. And the elders cry, why, oh why, oh why, away. And the youth them say, no, 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 not today, not today, not today.